How long have humans existed? 300,000 years. Something existed for 300 million years, 1,000 times longer than humans. Its teeth are buried in every stone beneath your feet, billions of them, as if something's torn their mouths apart, and scattered them to every corner of the earth. Scientists have dug for 130 years, daring to ask only one question. What did the owners of these teeth actually look like? No one dared to answer, because no bodies were found, not a single one, only teeth. In 1983, a rock in Scotland finally couldn't keep the secret. The moment the truth surfaced, everyone fell silent. The tooth sockets of this creature were engraved with venom grooves, the oldest venomous-jawed hunter on Earth, 300 million years before venomous snakes. But the most terrifying thing wasn't this, it was that after ruling Earth for 300 million years, it vanished overnight, as if something had completely erased it from the planet. Guess who's next? This thing, scientists gave it a name, Conodont. But don't be fooled by the name. It's not a stone, it's a living creature. In 1856, Russian paleontologist Pandor discovered these strange things. In ancient rocks of the Baltic region, they were very small, only a fraction of a millimeter, almost invisible to the naked eye. But under the microscope, Pandor gasped, these tiny structures looked like teeth of some creature, gleaming with a metallic luster, in bizarre shapes, some like curved knives, some like spiked maces, some like combs lined with dense spines. Pandor guessed right away, these might be teeth of some ancient fish. But the problem was, where were the teeth, and the body? He searched through every rock, and found nothing. Only teeth, no bones, no scales, nothing at all. It's like finding a murder weapon at a crime scene, but no killer, and not even a victim. Since then, conodonts have become the most bizarre mystery in paleontology. Scientists have found these fossils in rocks all over the world. North America, Europe, Asia, Africa, and even Antarctica. Everywhere. Their numbers are astonishing. Just named species already exceed 3,000. Even crazier. The time span of these fossils extends from the Cambrian, 500 million years ago, all the way to the end of the Triassic 200 million years ago, 300 million years. Imagine what that means. Dinosaurs ruled the Earth for only 160 million years. Conodonts' history was almost twice as long as that of the dinosaurs. They witnessed life climbing from the ocean onto land, witnessed fish evolving limbs, and witnessed the first insects taking flight. Yet, the owners of these teeth remained hidden, in the darkness of history, never showing their faces. Scientists began to wildly speculate. In 1879, a British paleontologist proposed that these might be teeth of lampreys or hagfish, because these two types of fish have no jaws, no bones, only cartilage and keratin. This would explain why no other fossils were found. But this hypothesis was quickly questioned, because the structure of conodonts is far more complex than that of lamprey teeth. In 1926, another group of scientists proposed an even bolder idea. These might not be teeth at all, but rather the gill rakers of some prehistoric shark. Gill rakers are structures fish use to filter food. This could explain why the shapes are so strange. But the problem is, sharks have bones. Why have none ever been found? By the 1930s, things got even messier. Some said conodonts were the mouths of worms, because the jaws of annelids and conodonts share surprising similarities. Some said they were the radulas of snails, because mollusks also have similar structures for grinding food. The scientific community was in an uproar. Everyone had their own theory, but no one could provide evidence. The turning point came in 1934, when two researchers discovered a stunning phenomenon in the rocks. Many conodonts did not exist alone, but appeared in groups, dozens of differently shaped teeth, tightly arranged together, like some kind of complex chewing apparatus. What does this mean? It means a single organism might have possessed several different shapes of conodonts at once, just like humans have incisors, canines and molars. These teeth each had a distinct role. This discovery completely changed the game. Scientists realized they had previously mistaken different teeth from the same animal as separate species. In fact, the number of conodont species might be far smaller than imagined. But the most crucial question remained unanswered. What did this thing actually look like? Fast forward to 1983. Near Edinburgh, Scotland, a group of paleontologists were studying a 350-million-year-old limestone block. This rock came from the Carboniferous period, when the Earth was covered in swamps and primeval forests. They were handling the rock sample carefully, when suddenly someone screamed. Under the microscope, an unbelievable image appeared. A slender, eel-like body, faintly preserved in the rock, and clearly arranged in its head area, were a set of conodont elements. The 127-year-old mystery finally had an answer. This was the first time humans saw the true face of a conodont animal. It was about 4 centimeters long, with a slender soft body, like a transparent eel. It had huge eyes, taking up nearly half of its head, suggesting it may have hunted by sight. Its body had distinct muscle segments along the sides, resembling the myotomes typical of vertebrates. More critically, inside its body was a notochord, a hallmark feature of vertebrates. That's right, conodont animals were ancestors of vertebrates, or at least close relatives. They were not worms, not snails. They were our ancient cousins. This discovery shocked the entire paleontological community, but an even bigger shock was yet to come. In 1995, a larger, better preserved conodont fossil was found in South Africa. This species was named Chirichthys septem. It came from the Ordovician period, 450 million years ago. Its body length reached 40 centimeters, making it the largest conodont ever found at that time. Don't laugh. 40 centimeters is already a giant in the conodont family. Most conodont animals were only a few centimeters long, the smallest even less than a centimeter. Their eyes were exceptionally well preserved. Scientists found that these animals had astonishingly large eyes, indicating they might have lived in darker deep-water areas, or were nocturnal hunters. In 2009, a team of Polish scientists discovered an even more terrifying secret. They carefully studied a conodont called Pandarodus, and found a deep groove on its teeth. This groove ran from the tip of the tooth to the edge of the root, razor sharp. Scientists compared it to the tooth structure of modern venomous animals, such as venomous snakes, scorpions, platypus. The results are hair-raising. The morphology and function of this groove are almost identical to those of a venom delivery tube. What does this mean? It means that conodonts were likely venomous. It used these grooved teeth to grab prey and inject venom, paralyzing or killing them. This makes it the oldest known venomous vertebrate, a full 300 million years before the first venomous snake. Imagine, in the oceans over 400 million years ago, a group of transparent little creatures, only a few centimeters long, drifted in the darkness with a mouthful of venomous fangs. That image is more terrifying than any horror movie. In 2021, scientists reanalyzed a conodont fossil, found in 1985 in Wisconsin, USA. Using the latest CT scanning technology, they discovered that this animal's body was different from other conodonts. The distribution of its muscle blocks indicated it was not an elegant swimmer, but a lurking ambush predator. It likely lay quietly on the sea floor, waiting for prey to pass by, then struck suddenly, using its mouthful of venomous fangs to firmly clamp down on its prey. This is one of the earliest ambush predators among vertebrates on Earth. In 2024, a heavyweight paper was published in the journal Nature Communications. Scientists used electron backscatter diffraction technology to study the microstructure of conodont teeth. They discovered that the crystal arrangement in conodont teeth became more orderly as evolution progressed. In early conodonts, the crystal arrangement in the teeth was relatively chaotic, but in later forms, the key axes of the crystals were precisely perpendicular to the tooth surface, forming a structure similar to modern enamel. This means that the ability of conodont animals to control biomineralization was constantly evolving, becoming ever more refined. Their teeth became harder and harder, and more wear-resistant, allowing them to bite through harder prey. This is the beginning of the evolution of vertebrate teeth. In a way, our hard human teeth are a continuation of this evolutionary history. But here's the question: why did such a successful species, which ruled the ocean for 300 million years, suddenly disappear? The answer lies in the Great Disaster that struck 200 million years ago. At the end of the Triassic period, Earth experienced one of the 5 major mass extinctions. The culprit behind this disaster was the supervolcanic eruptions along the central Atlantic magmatic province. At that time, the supercontinent Pangaea was splitting apart, and a huge rift opened between North America and Africa. Magma surged from underground, covering millions of square kilometers of land. The carbon dioxide emitted by the volcanoes turned the atmosphere into a massive greenhouse, and global temperatures soared by 10 to 15 degrees Celsius. the oceans began to acidify, coral reefs collapsed, and 96% of coral species went extinct. 96% of the corals went extinct. Conodont animals completely disappeared in this catastrophe. They had survived 4 of the 5 mass extinctions, including the most devastating Permian-Triassic extinction event. But this time they couldn't make it through. Today, although conodonts are extinct, their teeth remain one of the most important tools for geologists. Because the shapes of conodonts varied across different eras, geologists can identify the types of conodonts found in rocks to precisely determine the age of the rocks. This is like a key to time, helping us unlock Earth's history. Perhaps millions of years from now, some intelligent life forms will discover our fossils in rocks. Will they, just as we study conodonts, spend over 100 years debating what we really were, leaving behind only a pile of bones, with no trace of a soul?